Hey, shalom guys. This is Esau, the lowly Jew, wild man and born from a harlot true. How do you do? Okay, so I'm just getting back with you guys, and this is the third installment. So I've been behind on these videos, and I'm trying to catch up, man. I got so many videos, but we're gonna get into this because I don't have much band time. So Psalm 110, okay, verse 1 to 7. The Lord said unto my Lord, Sit thou at my right hand, until I make thine enemies thy footstool. The Lord shall send the rod of thy strength out of Zion. Rule thou in the midst of thine enemies. Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power, in the beauties of holiness. From the womb of the morning thou hast the dew of thy youth. The Lord hath sworn, and will not repent. Thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. The Lord at thy right hand shall strike through kings in the day of his wrath. He shall judge among the heathen. He shall fill the places with dead bodies. He shall wound the heads over many countries. He shall drink of the brook in the way. Therefore shall he lift up the head. Okay, guys. So I just wanted to start off with that. Okay. It's very important to start off with the scriptures. And I just want to say to you, it's such a blessing to be able to do this. And I want to get to getting back into the last video. It's crazy, as I was telling you about Mr. Giggles and everything, and if you guys were wondering why I was calling him Mr. Giggles, it's because I was calling him Mr. Giggles because every time he speaks about me, he giggles. Most particularly when it comes to my penis or talking about eating butt and things of that nature. He has this giggle about himself, and he sounds like, you know, a schoolgirl. When he does this, he just his voice. It's like I don't know. It changes. It's can't explain it. Maybe it's that demon in him. But so it is what it is. And not even objects are safe. So he'll sit up there and talk about objects as if you can have sex with them. So it's weird. He tried to try that stuff with me, and I had to let him know. Not me. Nope. So we're gonna move on here. And it's just crazy. The fixation with the violation of my chastity piece. The taking of my my virginity, so to speak. And you got people out here. You ever seen a woman thrust before? Like she had a penis? This is the kind of stuff, the tomfoolery, the foolishness, and the sadistic nature of these people taking pleasure in everything that I'm going through and being just as much responsible for it as the people who put up the videos. Okay? So when you see that, you got some of these women out here trying to peg me, man. Like, I'm serious, man. And I'm not saying, look, you go look that up what peg means, man. You see a woman thrusting in excitement because of everything that you've been through and taking great pleasure that they were a part of it. It's crazy, man. But you got to be mindful. Just be mindful in your environment, okay? Take off my hood here. You see what I'm saying? My Hameshi. Hey, I got my pins now. Okay, so anywho, I never get a full night's sleep. I don't even sleep at night. I have a very sporadic sleep schedule. And I just it's crazy, man. So much it's mainly the Canaanites. It's mainly the Canaanites and the biracial communities. For some reason. I don't know why. But like I said, when it comes to the gospel, you keep going, you keep moving. And I get called all kinds of things, Like I said, the previous video was off script. That was completely off script, and this is the video with the script. According to the Lord and the discernment what He's giving me to write down. Like I said, getting called a monkey, a nigger, every day by her son. So it's crazy, just about every day. Well, every day, for certainly, so he's talking about my lower half. So it's kind of it's not it's funny in the sense like, wow, I can't believe I'm going through all this. I'm just just me, it's just me, just one person. So anywho, I want peace, but they want war for some reason. You know, still haven't got that library card yet. So, and that's war right there, man. You know what I'm saying? Still didn't get that library card yet. Um, so and then there are issues. There are issues with the so-called black community, which I'm gonna get on down here. You know, all kinds of things. But it's not like the other communities. You know what I'm saying? So they don't really mess with me or pester me much, but they do every once in a while. You know, you know, it's really, when it comes to the children, it's really just the parents encouraging these kinds of things. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. And it's extremely traumatic when you hear kids being coached into saying these things, especially when it comes to the neighbors, man. It's crazy. The better neighborhood kids be coming over there. It's crazy, man. People across the streets, it's just very chaotic. It's very heathenistic. It's very just very atrocious. Atrocious is the word that comes to mind. Um, you know, and you can hear children being desensitized. You know, and be that desensitization, or it being normalized. It's crazy. You know, um, and it's crazy when you hear them in the engagement of these conversations in relation to your penis, and finding pleasure in the possibility of you being raped. So when you dealing with people like that, and you dealing with you got them out there, the Canaanite woman thrusting and stuff like that, and the other women of other communities too, clapping their hands, like, aha, we found you out. You didn't find nothing out. I found you out. I know exactly who you are and what you're about, as my discernment tells me. So it's crazy, you know. Um, and it's just one of those things, so I don't want this to be too long of a video. I'm trying to stay on script. Um, you just know when you're going through these atrocities, it's the last days. Simple as that. It's the last days, man. And I'm getting into this, last video before the first video. Um, it was the first video before the last one. Okay, so of the schedule of atrocity, and I was talking about the Rain Man. So I want to get into talking about who is the Rain Man. Okay, so we're gonna get into this because I want people to know, especially for those who get into the music industry and stuff like that, because the Lord's given me a gift. If I decide to make music, and that's if I decide to do that. I may not. I just like to write poems. Really like to write poems. So, okay. Well, the Rain Man, it says here, and this is BillingsFandom.com. You can find him in other places too. Particularly, just give me a minute. Alias, he goes by the alias of the Rain Man, the entity, the Rain Man entity, the devil. Uh, Occupation, ruler of the music industry. His power, his skills, corrupting influence, dark powers. Hobby, making deals with people who want to rise in popularity and power and corrupting them afterwards. Okay, so that's what he does. Goals, increase the ranks, exercise ultimate power over the music industry. Okay, his crimes, his crimes, man. So we're going to get to that. uh, murder, enslavement, and brainwashing, rape, you know, malefic enslavement, so malefic enslavement. I gotta look that up. Malefic, causing or capable of causing harm or destruction, especially by supernatural means. Okay? Oh, it's funny. Astrology, right? Relating to the planets, Saturn and Mars, traditionally considered to have an unfavorable influence. So you just get into Saturn, you get into Saturnalia, or Saturnalia, which is, it's crazy when you get into that. We're just getting, it's Christmas, and they would just have nothing but sex, revelry, drinking, debauchery, and that's originally in Rome. But when they adopted Christianity, um, they they didn't change the paganism of it. They just gave it a different name. So all that, when you get into Christmas, I'm not going to get too much into that. Is Saturnalia, and you can go look it up, man. Rome is just America is just another Rome. Okay, you can get to that. But I'm not trying to make this video too long, because then I'll have to you won't hear the end of the videos if the videos run too long. So that's why I don't have the right equipment. So it is what it is. But anywho, so you know who are the capers? The capers. I call them the capers. Okay. Well, they are members of the black community. Okay, and they put on that cape. When they put on that cape, it's a big S on their chest. Okay. And it stands for super coon. Okay, they put on that S, man. They be caping for the approval of the Caucasian. These other nations too that think very lowly of the so-called black community. Okay, very lowly of us. Think the worst of us, man. And they just be bootlicking. You know. So it is what it is. That's what it means. I call them the capers. You know. You know. They love that precious white supremacy, man. They love it, man. If they could just get crumbs from old massa. It's a lot of them out here, man. It's a lot of them, I dealt with and ran across. So it is what it is. It's just the self-hatred is real, man. Self-hatred is real. Yeah, so, and I'm just thinking about everything that's been happening to me. And, it's crazy. But despite everything that's been happening to me, I love it, man, because it's making me a better person. It's making me a stronger person. It's making me so much better. So much better, man. And so it's kind of like, for me, I'm surprised. There's no burning crosses on the lawn. And that's how racist it is down here. The experience of what I've been going through, and that's really bad. It just reflects the community, particularly the Caucasians, and how they really are down here. So I'm not gonna lie. I look out there and see what's going on out there. Wait to see a burning cross, and that's how they got me now. My mentality. I'm like, when it comes to the Caucasians, the Canaanites down here. So it is what it is. I look for the biracial community, members of the biracial communities that hate the portion of themselves that is so-called black, what they call black. Be standing out there with a burning cross, with a dress on. Well, I call it dresses. It's not really. Well, they don't call them dresses. They're wearing those gowns. Those dresses. But anywho, it is what it is. I'm just surprised. Then you have the nullies, okay, or the nullified. You know, Nullified dummies. The Nellies of the nullified dummies is what I call them. Nellies or nullified dummies. Because at the end of the day, you know, you know, because they're with those folks, man, they're not gonna say too much about the atrocities. Because they're nullified. It's just what it is. You know, they got their piece. They got their Martin Luther King, I have a dream speech. Right there, flesh and blood. You know what I'm saying? So you get into the real history of Martin Luther King, man. He was a sexual degenerate, and he loved sleeping with white prostitutes. So you can get into that history. Okay, the FBI was they have a record on him, the Informations Act, and they were eventually going to release it, but it said it was on the news. It said it's obscene, obscene. You know, and some of the other people knew about what he was about and stuff. And this is just me not trying to kill the man's legacy, but it wasn't really about uniting people into a proper way of integrating the black community into the uh, amongst the ruling society, you know, the Caucasians. You know what I'm saying? That point in time. So it was not about that, you know. You know, it is what it is. The ruling powers that be at this point in time right now are the Canaanites. You know what I'm saying? Or or Edom. And Edom is not the white man. Edom is of many different nations. You know, but we no need to get into that. But this is the kind of stuff, you know, and it's really about Luciferianism. Okay, you really get into things, you get really to the history of things, and he believed in a lot of he no, he did not believe in God. Okay, so by any means, so you have to research that into yourself. I'm not going to make this video about Dr. King, you know. But anywho, you know, it's crazy, man. It's just you have people like that they have a living, you know, it's like an I have a dream speech, you know, a walking quotation of what he fantasized about that he couldn't have in his point in time. That's Martin Luther King. And if you want to get mad at me, go do your research. Ask the Lord to give you an understanding. But I researched this and it's found to be true. And he was a communist. Okay, it was a totally different story, man. It was to unite. It was to unite the black community that was separate from the other communities into the Luciferianism, and that's what it really was about, and to introduce homosexuality into the black community, you know, and which it has been very successful. He was very successful at doing because he was doing all kinds of things, obscene things, you know, and he was partaking in that. You get into bad, you know, and let me stop there, but you know. And it's your business, man. And let me tell you something. I don't have anything against those relationships, but when you begin to, it becomes a problem for me, you know. Or I begin to get targeted, you know, targeted for being a heterosexual Jew, you know, and a perpetual, or ascetic Jew, a eunuch, a priest, you know, perpetually a eunuch. You know, it becomes an issue, man. You know. So I don't think I'm not gonna say anything about you. You know, you allow your yeah, it's crazy. You know, you got a lot of these women out here to be saying all kinds of stuff. Being get called a nigga, you know. They found him a buck. They call him a nigga for good luck. And that's really what of the bulk of the relationships that I've seen coming up when and I don't even say coming up in Port Huron because I wasn't raised here. You know, I was a slave, and I just happened to get away. So it is what it is, man. This place is terrible. Po-ho, you know. You know, and it's crazy, man, when you just hear young boys talking about, and her son, you know, call him, you know, Benny the Canaanite, you know, this is what it is. When you hear him talk more about boys than girls, man, you know, you hear boys talk more about me than actually girls, okay? This mess is crazy, man. You know you living in the last days. This is the end times, okay? Now, I'm about to end this, man. This video, I'm not trying to make it run too long, man, because I have a problem with the end of these videos. But I'll be meaning to finish this. This is part 3. So we're going to get into Mark. And I like to stay on script, man. I like to keep my stuff organized, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, so we're going to get into this. Mark chapter 4. Mark chapter 4, verse 37 to 40. Okay? All right. And there arose a great storm of wind, and the waves beat into the ship, so that it was now full. And he was in the hinder part of the ship, asleep on a pillow. And they awake him, and say unto him, Master, carest thou not that we perish? And he arose, and rebuked the wind, and said unto the sea, Peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. And he said unto them, Why are ye so fearful? How is it that ye have no faith? Okay, so I just wanted to end it with that, meaning that, hey, in comparison to this verse, in relation to my life, it's a storm. Okay, but you got to focus on the eye of the storm, the calmness of the storm. Okay, you got to focus not on the storm itself, but it's such a wonderful verse. And just talking about, of ye of little faith. You have to have faith. That's why I'm so calm. Okay? Peace be still. You have the power. Okay? All right. Shalom.